All right, welcome everyone to today's meeting of the Decentralized AI Agent Alliance. This is our 11th general meeting since we started in January. And real quick, for everyone, our mission remains to foster the development and proliferation of decentralized AI agents through education, activism, research, and events. And so, I think we're executing against that. Real quick, as in other general meetings, we'll have a membership update, general DAIAA update, subgroup updates. If any of the subgroup heads are here and have updates to give. Uh, we normally this time would have a guest talk, but we do not have a guest today, so this will probably be a shorter call. But I left that up there because I do want to talk about future guest talks, and then we can open it up for discussion if anybody has anything that they want to chat about. So on the statistics side, we continue to grow. We're at 129, and at least for the first year, we'll find them call everyone founding members. So that's up five from last month, which was also plus five. So we seem to have kind of reached a steady state. 45 individual members, so 174 total. And that was plus four from the previous month. And so that's up one. The previous month before that was three. So I guess we're accelerating the growth of our membership modestly. Um, and I don't know if there are any new members on the call today who haven't previously introduced yourselves. But if you haven't done so, open up your mic and say hello and, and what you're up to. All right. Hey, Michael.
Hey Lou, just saying hi everyone. I'm Michael Cantor, president of Hashgraph Online. I'm really stoked to be a part of this group and happy to participate and support any way that we can. At Hashgraph Online, we are an open source standards consortium. We create SDKs, standards, and we are a DAO-led organization. We're currently partnered with members or leading retail organizations, primarily in the Hedera ecosystem, such as Hashpack and Bonzo Finance and so forth. And currently, we're very neck deep in standardization and development in the AI front. We recently launched something called the Registry Broker, which indexes finds agents all across the world, enabling you to talk and connect to agents anywhere on
All
the
right. This
planet.
is what we were talking about at the last showcase.
Yes, exactly. So if anyone wants to reach out, chat about things like that, feel free to. Happy to be here.
So welcome and thanks. And do you want to just maybe give, because obviously, it's great that we've got a couple other L1s that are members as well. But it'd be great if you just want to give people just maybe a little bit more insight into kind of Hedera's place in the marketplace.
Yeah. And just for context for Hashgraph Online, but Hedera as an ecosystem is very wide. We have a lot of organizations, and many of our organizations start with the word Hashgraph. So it's very confusing, and I'm so fans for how confusing it is. We're an open source standards body, but we also have Hashgraph Foundry, which is kind of the labs entity in the Hedera ecosystem. We have a foundation. Actually, we have two foundations, and then we have the general council. In terms of AI, I think the biggest opportunity or biggest way that Hedera can help accelerate the AI economy is on the trust aspect and standardization aspect. What's really cool about Hedera is we have this thing called the consensus service, which you can submit messages to for 1/100th of a penny. So it's very low cost and cheap. So when you're thinking about topics like decentralized AI and trust signatures and registration of data, it's a really good place to look to because Hedera is backed by 39 council members who happen to be leading Fortune 500 companies like Google and Aberdeen and so forth. So it's an exciting place to explore, and I'm always happy to make any introductions and connect the dots for folks who are interested in exploring those areas.
Yeah, I mean, in Hedera's, I think of you guys kind of as an OG L1.
Yes, sometimes known as the dinosaur in the room.
Um, and right, Hedera is a DAG.
Yes, that's correct. So the algorithm they use is A B F T. Um, I won't mess with the name right now because I haven't had enough coffee to drink yet. Uh, but the crux of it is instead of using a blockchain, they use a DAG mechanism, which is actually called the Gossip Protocol. And with blockchains, which are really nice, but some of the things that we've heard of and we get frustrated about sometimes is MEV and being able to front run transactions. With Hedera, transactions are ordered first in, first out. So it's literally by timestamp, meaning you can't pay a larger gas fee to put your transaction out in front. So you avoid things like sandwich attacks and so forth, which on the AI front is actually really important, right? Especially if you're talking about decentralized inference.
They're going to get good at that.
Yes.
Okay, well, welcome. Thanks for the introduction. Anybody else? Raise a hand. Going once, twice.
Hey
Cool.
Lou, this is
Yep.
Shubhankar. Thanks for
Hey, welcome. I didn't see that.
thank you. Yeah. Hey everyone.
Looks
I
like you're
saw some
still in New York.
I am always in New York, love New York. This is a picture I took some time ago during morning walk.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So people who don't know me, but some they do, I've been in this blockchain in the blockchain ecosystem for quite some time, mostly focused on RWAs. But my interest in this community is primarily around edge AI and SLMs. I'm seeing a greater uptick in interest in agentic AI on top of RWAs. RWA is where I spend most of my time, but on the distribution side, I see there is a layer sitting on top of payments protocols and RWAs. So that's I'm looking forward to meeting folks here and figure out how we can essentially combine and build more protocols like AP2, what Google is trying to do, and others across the RWA protocols. So exciting times.
Okay, very cool. Welcome.
Thank you.
And if there's nobody else, uh, so when one of the things we're doing to grow the membership is now when we've got speakers and we think that that they can have a broader audience than just DAIAA. We're now inviting folks who have come to a Crypto Mondays decentralized AI meetup, um, and so. And then it's free for them to join DAI as well. Gives a bigger audience who are speakers as well, which they always appreciate. Okay, so that's general membership update. Uh, general DAIA update. So our next showcase is December 15th. We had two good companies. The last one I thought it was a good one. That's 2 weeks from today, from 12 to 1. We've got up to 3 slots, and as of now, we don't have any of our members who've taken a slot. So I have had some people outside. So reach out to them who are doing some interesting things. Because the main idea is for all of us just to see and learn from what other people are building out there. And so, preferably if we have our own members, gives those folks an opportunity to show off and get feedback and such. But if we don't, we're great having others come as well. So if you've got a project or know of a project, let us know. Um, Oh, we've been talking about this for a while with the Independent AI Institute. Doug Keeney is one of their guys who's going to do a podcast and talk about it. He's got a regular podcast. Um, do we have any of our subgroup heads here today with an update? Once, twice? Okay. Um, so I was not, was I at I'm trying to remember the AI commerce subgroup this week. Do not recall. I think I just caught up with Eric and Robin. I think you were on the line as well. In any case, guest talk. Last time we had Vangelos Samidis, that gave a great talk. It's actually online. If you haven't seen it, he gave an overview of kind of AI agents in the enterprise, and it's not a pretty picture at the moment. Um, But I thought it was super interesting. We had a good Q&A, and I think that's a good way to give value to members, get interesting folks. So if anybody here knows anyone who would you think would be a good guest speaker as well, let us know. Again, the idea here is just to for all of us to educate ourselves on decentralized AI agents, and that is the end of our formal remarks on the open discussion side. Um, just real quick, I thought this was interesting. I saw recently, I know UiPath, think of them as a kind of a consulting firm in the space, put out what I thought was a really thoughtful piece on kind of what they expect from, AI and agentic automation kind of next year, the look ahead, and what they think. And I will drop the link in the chat in a little bit. But just real quick, the seven highlights, they said, necessity is the mother of reinvention, that AI's disruptions compel organizations to make bold changes in how they operate, compete, and allocate work. AI ROI at last. Enterprises find their path from pilots to payout. So that's that would be seems like big move forward for the industry. Vertical ascent, focused agentic solutions take off and fly high. That's exciting. The power of the swarm, multi-agent systems land all over, transforming workflows for good and for the better. Uh, that certainly sounds reasonable. Enter the command center. Control moves to a new plane by centralizing orchestration, governance, and agent management. Uh, so obviously they were not focused on decentralized AI. Gloves off, guardrails up. Enterprises act decisively to ensure security, transparency, and control for every AI agent and agentic workflow. Certainly makes sense. Although Uh, they have not proven to be great at that with our personal information. Data goes meta. Companies double down on adding the context, structure, and access. Oh, structure, real-time access and control that turns enterprise data into agent rocket fuel. And that really makes a lot of sense. And so, yeah, I just brought that up. I thought it was an interesting article. Where they actually have a whole report where they go into depth into each one of these areas. And I think that they're all kind of generally mega trends that we're all aware of, but it's interesting to hear, some smart folks give greater context to that. And with that, we'll open up to open discussions with any member, any topic. So if anybody has anything they want to chat about, we can have a discussion, and that's the end of the formal remarks.
Yeah, on that last topic,
Yeah.
I think that's a really important point on, from my perspective, why Web3 is the foundational need of agentic internet and the new agentic economies that are being built. So, okay, if you have like a data broker, you have data sets, how do you prove the hash of the data set that's been validated that you're downloading for your agent to digest hasn't had a prompt injection from a malicious party? This interconnectivity of data sets is going to be extremely fast as AI is creating much more content than humans are at this moment.
Yes.
And that's going to continue. And so we're living in the dead internet theory, if you're familiar, where, if I'm on a website, I'm assuming 80% of these comments are bots. And some of them are just like, their emoji use really just makes it really apparent these are not real people. And so
Yes.
as these data sets are being created by AI slop, and then those data sets are being used by other AI, the validity of the source of the data and third party verification that that data has been mined correctly, that it hasn't broken any CPA or GDPR rules, and that it hasn't been manipulated since it's been put together in a data broker sort of set. Without a decentralized ledger, you have to trust somebody. You have to trust Google, you have to trust Amazon. And so I think that's where the decentralized ledger technologies lend to this new era of how do we make our AI smarter without giving them all of the AI slop for training? And then how do we verify that the PII and all of this information that we're training our models on is valid and is provable? And I think that's, again, that's why we need Web3 in AI, is the verification, the provability, and then at this point, training new models to make sure that it ladders up to valid data sets that have verification on chain, and I don't have to trust someone. It's just, it's valid.
So I mean, my assumption is that what you were saying is understood kind of as true. Certainly it is to me. Why do you think that there hasn't been an embrace yet by the broader AI community of Web3, given all the
Yeah,
problems that we can solve for?
I have a really powerful thesis because I was in San Francisco in April and did a talk at the AI conference. And it was sort of the first time I walked outside of my Web3 AI bubble, where you're like, I'm just talking to all these engineers. We all understand, like, we came at AI from Web3. So we understand decentralized systems, the benefits they add, and we go, oh, well, AI needs this, of course. I would say I talked to 200 people in our booth after my talk, and two, maybe three, knew what blockchain was. And unfortunately, there's a misconception that all crypto is a scam, a Ponzi scam. It's just a way to make quick money, and it's just fraud. And they don't have a conceptual urgency or understanding of the problem, because they know that AI is the solution of all future computing. So of course you would use AI to fix AI, to make better AI. And so 40% of the place and 40% of the booths were just AI trained on hallucinations to stop your AI from hallucinating solutions. And I was like, I just
That's
asked
so
them.
funny.
It's terrifyingly funny. So I
Yes,
just asked them,
exactly. Yes. Well,
hey,
it is
so
terrifying.
how do I know your hallucination AI isn't hallucinating? And they said, no one ever asked me that. And their eyes sort of glazed over. So really, what's happening is CEOs are telling everyone they need to use AI. There's this gold rush of trying to put flags down in different verticals. Everyone understands the agentic economy is going to be a change in computing. And unfortunately, they don't know enough what they don't know. And they're building systems that are live in production in Medicare, in military, in governments, that have no mechanism of actually understanding what is truth, what has happened, what did it think, why did it do it, what's it trained on. And so we're living sort of the worst case scenario when these dumb LLMs, like AGI won't kill us. Our ignorance of putting dumb LLMs in front of weapon systems is going to kill us, right? So that's my thesis. They don't know the value that blockchain can bring, and they're trying to solve these problems with the technology they know is the future, and they just need education. After I had my talk, I had a line out the door of people asking more about how blockchain can bring this authenticity. So
Well,
yeah.
that's encouraging,
Yeah,
don't you think?
I do. And like my social timeline went from, hey, we need to be ready and prepare all of this tooling. And then after that conference, they turned into, everyone pay attention in AI. You need Web3 now. I'm trying to kick down the door. And I think from a group like this, knowing that Web3 is the solution is less than 2% of the AI industry right now. And we need to be extremely vocal in showing the value adds and the fundamental need for human survival, if I'm being flatly honest, of bringing in these DLTs to bring authenticity and verification to these systems, because they are going to run our lives. They're running our lives, and they're in charge of systems that could decimate human life. And they're really dumb, and there's no proof of them, and it's not great.
No, it's not great. Max, you had your hand up? You're on. Max, if you're talking, we cannot hear you. Amit?
Yeah, I love that commentary regarding LLMs
Yeah.
are really dumb. And the other thing is LLMs, they're able to look at give you very complex insights, but from my experience, they just lack common sense. Like I'm using it for security audits. My company does security audits with agentic workflows, and the hardest part I'm having trouble automating is verifying all of the results I get from the LLMs. Like it produces like incredible amounts of results, uh, really great security audit insights and findings, but I have to literally at the end of the day double check each one because it'll miss something really obvious. Like I'll figure out this complex workflow, this complex bug, but at the end of the day, it just, well, it just misses something really obvious. So it just lacks like this common sense. I guess that's when people talk about AGI. Like, what is AGI? There's no definition of it. To me, it's like the common sense that humans have that, the LLMs are having a lot of trouble just grasping like really simple things, but complex things they get really well. And that's why they can't do simple math, but they can, solve like really hard problems. Anyway, this is my commentary. I don't know if anyone
Lou,
feels the same thing from their experience.
can you hear me, Lou?
Yes. Now, Max, I can hear you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
For Ty and
Thanks, Amit. Yeah.
Amit, Ty, have you discussed with them what they're doing with the semantic layer, data mesh, and the ontology management, so they can, understand how to use the blockchain with training their LLMs?
Can you pose that question a different way?
Well, you're saying they're doing all the hallucination and stuff. And did they discuss anything about the ontology management, creating a semantic layer so we can have the data, so they understand the data flow?
They had a primitive version of it, but all of it relied on centralized solutions of either hashing. And like, I don't trust any database because a database can have an admin that's an agent, and an agent can manipulate records, logs, anything to match the intent of the input that it's getting. And so the solutions that were shown to me, I was just like, okay, so what happens if that AI hallucinates and deletes that record and lies to me? And the answer again was, well, I don't know.
Okay. Well, they're so behind then on how to train the LLMs. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, there are people like Equity Labs that, shameless shill, I'm from Hashgraph Hedera. Equity Labs is using Hedera for NVIDIA and Intel to do this exact thing where they do a data hash of the chipset, the actual iterative loop, the model that they're training, and then they put that onto a topic on Hedera, which is just like a Kafka topic where you can have sequence of any information up to a kilobyte per message, and it has a unique identifier that you can search. And then that's the provenance chain of any model. And if anyone ever asks, hey, I think you stole my PII, they can go back and look at all the data attestation models of every run and show you provably in the data hashes that this is to 100% valid. And it's in a way that no one could manipulate that decentralized ledger after it comes to consensus on the network. And so you have that proof of actual training, because you could reverse engineer it and get the same exact result, presumably.
Gotcha. Do you lead one of the groups here?
I do not, but that is an aspiration of mine. I lead the AI strategy at Hedera, but I think there's a lot of really good thought leadership in this group, and wanted to eventually get into a subgroup of either commerce or auditability and provenance.
We should actually discuss it further and see who else would like to join and just get together and discuss. To me, is the biggest issue right now is data management and, as you know, ontology management. And a lot of people are not understanding this, and that's why we cannot move toward decentralizing AI and actually real-time digital twins. So it will be great to create something, and we can have discussion over this stuff and bring the best way to show them how the whole thing works. So
fully agree. And Michael Cantor is kind of working on a thing called Patchwork, which is syncing all of the agentic standards that are happening everywhere. Another shameless show, but Michael, did you want to just like talk? I came a little late, 5 minutes late. Maybe you already did it. But the idea is getting, IEEE, Advanced AI Society, all of these people who have a lot of different standards that are already in flux, like ERC 8004. The creator of that's going to be there. People from Basic, we talk about X402. And the idea is to share the standards inside of Web3 for agents all in one room with all of the creators so that we can sync and not double create all of these siloed standards, which I think is a really noble cause. And I think he just put the Luma in there. It's free to register, and it's going to be, hopefully the start of how do we make sure that these standards are being synced and they interact with each other, and all of the creators of these standards have connections with each other. And I apologize, I'm going to have to drop in 1 minute just to go to another meeting.
Okay, thanks, Todd. This is great stuff.
Yeah, and on the Loom event, we are looking for potentially additional speakers or moderators who are interested in coming on. The schedule is getting set very soon, so if you want to speak and you feel like you fit the bill for some of the topics that we're talking about, we will have IEEE in participation. We'll have Marco from ERC 8004, as well as folks from the Linux Foundation.
I'm sorry, Michael. What event are we talking about?
It's syncing on standards is what Ty was talking at the tail end there.
So directly related to this, Andor Kesselman and myself convened the Agentic Internet Workshop following the Internet Identity Workshop in October. And the whole point of that workshop was, and our intention going forward is to support the standard syncing using a format that we've used in identity to innovate standards for 20 years. So instead of having speakers speaking, it's all the standards makers talking to each other.
That seems to be aligned. Michael, you're on mute if you were talking.
No, that seems really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys are interested, I think we'd love to have you. I think Andrew would be participating as well in this upcoming event.
Very cool. So you guys can connect here, obviously just on the chat, or if for whatever reason you don't connect, feel free to reach out and I'm happy to connect you. So let's see, Tommy, you've been patiently waiting.
Yeah, hi Lou, thank you. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm a newer member to the group. My name's Tommy Shinsky. Hi everyone. I currently work at 50T Funds, which is one of the only growth equity investors in the broader digital asset ecosystem. Prior to 50T Funds, I was a part of Cantor Fitzgerald crypto and blockchain team where I was on the equity research side of things, covering, a lot of what was going on in crypto and blockchain in the public equity sector. So primarily exchanges, Bitcoin miners, etc. And yeah, I joined about a month ago now. Just looking to hear from thought leaders in the Web3 and AI space. And it's clear there's a lot of very intelligent people in this group. So I look forward to, listening in and contributing when I can, but just wanted to make sure I introduce myself.
No, that's great. Thanks. Thanks for doing that. And let's see, who's convenient chat?
Hi, Lou. Hi, everyone. It's me. I use this for my son as well, so I don't want to put my name. That's why I just have a very generic. My name is Dmitry Kustov. So I'm a CPA by trade, and I continue doing this as well. But also, as part of this activity, we build a crypto calculator. I'm also new member of Crypto Mondays and this community. Very exciting, very interesting. And so we build a crypto calculator. So it's fully functional. And my purpose of being here and listening to this amazing conversations is I want to maximize exactly what we just talked about. I want to bring this AI capabilities, the agentic capabilities to hold this crypto calculation idea. We created minutes, why we're calling it minutes, is I'm hoping that all of this calculation of the transactions that happen on crypto and downloading it, assigning accounts and so on and so forth, accounting ledger can be done maximally in maximal automated way. So that's sort of the hope to do. That's why we call it minute. It will take minutes. So if you trade in seconds, you crunch in minutes. So that's our motto. And so I'm here, and if anybody has amazing ideas about it, I'm very happy to explore together. Okay.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, welcome. Uh, and do we have anybody else who's anything that they want to bring up, mention, introduce?
I see Eric's here, Eric, because we did actually have quite a fascinating conversation in our Lou, Robin, Eric catch up
Yes.
last week. So I wonder whether, Eric, maybe you could explain some of those things we were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're talking about the standard we're working on and some of the verifiability work that we're doing at
Correct,
Blocksy,
correct.
yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I've been developing with Matt Kotnick, our CTO, who also runs PayPangea, which is a Web3 payments platform, um, we're working on connecting the payments workflow to verification workflows. So there's a lot of fraud in the mortgage industry right now, for example, that a lot of people aren't aware of, where apparently you have loan officers just changing the FICO score in PDFs, all the bad stuff that happened in 2008, apparently it's still happening. And so, we're kind of developing a way that you can have data verification directly from the data source, into an S3 bucket or any container for the data, and then connecting that to the payment rails for people who want access to that data. So, and we're looking at how we can publish that as an MIT open standard. So I'm very interested in your conference, Michael. I'm going to register for it. But yes, this is near and dear to my heart, this conversation. And was there anything else, Robin, that you want me to hit on?
No, I think it was the verifiability thing. And then you mentioned something about simulation of self, some new OS that's being you're working with and integrating payment rails with it. Am I recalling it correctly?
Say it again. You said simulation? What?
It was a new OS which features a simulation of yourself.
Oh yeah. We had them in the Agentic Commerce subgroup. We had New OS. So New Foundation, if anyone's aware of them, they're out of the Zug, Switzerland space, and they have a decentralized AI and blockchain, and they have these simulated AIs that you can make of yourself. And ways to sort of have verifiable identity and create an agentic presence using Web3 standards for verifiability, composability, openness, all of those good things embedded into the AI agent. And of course, Mike Anderson at Think Agents is working on something similar. Also, Shiza. So it's an exciting time to see these new projects finally going live that combine the Web3 rails into identity and into agents. And so I think we published it on the DAIAA YouTube, right? The demo that we
Yes.
had from New OS. So if everyone wants to go look
Yep.
at that, you can check out New OS demo from the Agentic Commerce subgroup a few weeks ago.
Cool. Thanks, Eric.
Eric, would you please share the link to them, please, in the chat?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat right now
Thank
so
you,
everyone can see it.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
happy to. Yep.
Cool. Thanks for suggesting that, Robin. Anything else from the group? Going
What
once?
about your question today, Lou, where you were saying, well, is anybody using AI agents? I mean, is anybody having that? Because Lou said, no, he's not using any AI agents. So I said, no, well, I use Notebook LM and what he says, no, those aren't agents, like proper agents. So I'm quite curious to hear if anybody here is actually there are agents that people are using and that they're actually being used in practical operations and things like that. Or anything that consumers would use, you know?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting point that Dele here. I would actually argue that most of the AI services people use today are agentic. So, like ChatGPT is really an agent. It's not an LLM. I mean, it's a chatbot, yes, but it is an agent. It has all these tools. Very few people use large language models in terms of just purely getting inference from them directly these days. So I think that I mean, we go towards more autonomous agents where they can do things independently, but that's really a spectrum. And I think that most AI services that people use out there have really effectively become agentic.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think it's really a definition of what someone's definition of agent is, because notebook LLM is definitely, again, not just an LLM. It builds slides, it does everything. So it's definitely got agentic workflows in the back end. And
What would agentic really mean? What would be the difference between an agent and an LLM chat? Like, you were saying.
I think it's the creation of something, really, in my mind. I mean, it's one thing to ask a question and get back a hopeful right answer. It's another thing to ask a question or make a statement and have something created because of that. And, that, in my opinion, that takes at least on some level, an agent or agents, which is, again, is just
Okay.
specific functions created.
I
I
think it
am
goes,
right now. Go ahead.
if I can, it goes deeper than that, actually, if I can add some more context to that. So an LLM, if you just hit an API endpoint for GPT-5 or Claude 4.5, it has no context. So you have to give it all the context in addition to your question. And the next time you hit the endpoint, it won't remember the previous time you just whatever it asked. So it has no memory. So when you have an actual agent, it retains context and memory for each subsequent conversation. On top of having an agentic workflow, you have the tooling. It can reach out to the internet. It can read files and do all these other things. So just a raw LLM is very, very difficult to work with without all the wrapper that you have with ChatGPT and so on, because it's no memory. It's like talking to somebody, you ask them a question, they answer it, and then they completely forget everything. It's like that 50 First Dates movie. Remember with the lady, she just completely forgets everything every day. That's like interacting with an LLM. So you have to basically take whatever conversation context you have to
Mhm.
carry it on to the subsequent conversation. So that's what all these agentic tools allow you to do.
Okay, but then I have a practical question for anyone, if anybody has idea. I'm looking for a very good, efficient agent that can manipulate spreadsheets, for accounting, like for example, right? So like that one practical application. There isn't anything that I can find right now on the market.
Gemini is probably one of the best performing for like that specific type of task. Again, you really have to work on the prompts and give it examples of what you're looking for and stuff. But we've done a lot of tests with like bank statement analysis and table data and stuff like that. And we found that Gemini outperformed Claude and GPT on things like that.
Yeah, I tried Gemini. That's right. So I think it's Is that the one with Google? The Google has it, right? Or is it for, or no?
No, yeah, it's Google. Gemini
Yeah,
4.
yeah. So I had it. Yeah. No, no. Yeah. Right. Right. Not. So you're saying this is the best. Okay. So then to answer the question, you see, they haven't really lived up to. And this is that would be an agent, right? So Gemini would not act as ChatGPT, right? It would be agent. I mean, do you think Gemini is truly an agent, or it's still LLM?
No, Gemini is the LLM. You know,
Uh,
the functions or the use case that are using that LLM for a brain, right? That's the agent. And I agree with the message that stays before, like an agent, has context and, like it's an LLM that's doing something as opposed to just being an LLM. And thank you. It's Gemini 3 Pro. Sorry, I said 4. But Gemini, again, for just like table data analysis, it is one of the better performing LLMs. And if you're building an agent for spreadsheet analysis, I would say it's probably also super well integrated with like Google Sheets. And, like that Google is building a lot of really great tools right now. And, you know, for AI, again, knowledge is power, and Google has a lot of, data to work with and train off of, and uh,
um,
and I think they're
but
definitely doing
you
a good
know,
job.
yeah, but one thing is analysis, and I agree, analysis is great, but creating something from my descriptions, let's say I need this, and that, in such and such way, and here, and that's how it all should work. I find it hard to find, to like the right an agent, like what Amit was saying about agents, some kind of assistant that remembers the ways that we have done it previously, and who lives in the place where I needed to live, somewhere maybe closer to my Excel, somewhere, or maybe online, some sort of Google Sheets, or somewhere close. I know that Gemini does, but I've had difficult time, having it do, and also, as we discussed, remember what it used to do as well, not only do new things.
Yeah, I would say, generally speaking, numerical work is still very challenging for transformers. Um, it's working, but it's because of the nature of transformers being statistical, they struggle with numerical precision a lot. So you have to really, you really do need a really well honed and fine-tuned agentic solution that probably combines more conventional machine learning in order to get reliable results when manipulating numbers specifically, compared to modern transformers currently.
Yeah, apparently there are under development large quantitative models. I don't hear too many people talking about it, but I think that's where this stuff's really going to take off.
Yeah, there's a great company called Sandbox that's really big in that space with large quantitative models. There's a lot of talk about it. I think, and they've got actually, highly demonstrable work like GPS, flying planes without using GPS with that level of precision. But yeah, it's one of the big challenges of the transformer model, currently working in the real world with real physics and real numbers.
Interesting. So it's proven to be more difficult than linguistics, right?
Yeah,
This that
language is
field.
very abstract, and there's a lot of ambiguity, and you can have meaning in many different ways with language, but with numbers, it's very precise. So it's deterministic. Large language models are fundamentally non-deterministic.
I love it. So we still have space in this world, which is good.
Yes.
For at least
Okay,
another few weeks.
that's right. Okay.
I have a little thing I'd like to share with the group, we launched as a bit of an experiment last week, Crypto Agentic magazine. It's like a first of its kind agentic magazine that's a combination of editorial and generative content, just really talking about the kind of general overarching thesis is that there are four technologies that are going to reshape the technological landscape of the next couple of decades at least. You know, blockchain, agentic AI specifically, quantum and spatial. And it's gone off to a flying start. We've had like 1,000 visitors since Thanksgiving. We just kind of quietly released it on Thanksgiving and had 1,000 visitors on it. So yeah, I posted it in the general chat. So please take a look and give us your feedback. And it's going to be a test bed for a lot of agentic innovations around identity, ownership, sovereignty, and all the usual stuff. But put to work in that place.
Well, cool. Congrats, Deli. That's very cool.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Once?
Hey, hey guys,
Hey, Kevin.
good here. How's everyone doing?
Welcome. So you get here a little
Yeah,
late?
yeah. That our team meeting went way over,
Oh.
but yeah. But yeah, it's been going good. So we just came from Dev Connect. Definitely was a blast. So just some updates with uh the startup Tempora and our agent Dr. Hero. So our agent's more for is a kind of a portfolio intelligence co-pilot, and then our goal is to turn different portfolio intents into like on-chain like on-chain like Web3 intents and then on-chain execution. So we're more targeting different B2B players, for example, from like small crypto offices, funds to like treasuries, or even, for example, like different vaults, etc. Definitely happy to show another demo again of our agents, maybe in the next on the next calls if there's any interest.
Okay, cool. Definitely
Yeah.
reach out. We can chat about that. Was there much
Mhm.
decentralized AI going on at DevConnect?
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of so yeah, there are a lot of DeFi type of conferences. There's like staking rewards. There is yeah, DeFi Connect, and then I think one of the big themes is around like vaults, which are people building like different like wrapping different strategies into like vaults, and then they have like a token, and then it's based on the different strategies. So it's just like another new type of like investment vehicles. And then another big theme in this space are like different treasuries like DATs, for example. So it's like kind of like how you're wrapping around different tokens into different like infrastructures, and then like so new types of like investment vehicles that they're like uh, creeping up. And then I think there's more emphasis from like especially from institutionals is moving away from finding the highest APYs to more of like finding the best like risk adjusted returns. So long story short is kind of becoming more like crypto's becoming more like institutionalized, kind of like the similar structure as like TradFi, and then as a way to get more traction from the TradFi space. So long story short, is like growing up. Yeah,
No, that was great. Thank you very much.
very much. Yeah, definitely.
So cool. Okay. Well,
Okay. Well,
getting close to the top of the hour.
getting
Thanks
close to the
everyone
top
for
of the hour.
coming,
Thanks.
and we'll see you in a couple weeks at the next showcase.
Thanks.